today. We're a little bit disorganized. Kathy Bond apparently is sick, and she had the draft for the agenda, so we don't have a printed agenda today. Here we are. Because Kathy isn't here, we can't approve the minutes from the last meeting because she has those also. So we'll table that until our next meeting. So next up is the President's report. I don't have much to report. I mean, as far as we can tell, things are going pretty smoothly. The budget is in fairly good shape. It's not where we need it to be for the CSU at this point in time, but it's better than it has been in several years. And if you watch the announcements bulletin board, which now doesn't operate, you see that they're posting 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 of our represented positions every week. So you know that means there's money here now that there wasn't before. ITS, we had a brief meeting with House Gorham this morning on another issue, and he said that somebody asked him, you asked him if he'd gotten any sleep in the past 4 days, and he said, I got 2 hours last night. So they know that there are problems and they're working on it. So please be patient. These are your co-workers. Some of them are here with us today. So
I'll call them. We'll call you.
Yeah. Good. I was able to get into Outlook this morning, and I know several of the others that we have too. So it's happening. It's going to be a rough process. Hopefully, we'll get those bulletin boards back one of these days too, or some other means of posting items of communal interest. My own personal email list that I have for all of you, they're back in first class. So I'm going to have to hand transcribe those and make up new lists. So please be patient for a while until all of that falls into place. Handouts today out of the sign-in table. This is something new for us, little pocket calendars. So you might want to grab one of those. We also have our wall hangers, which we've had for a number of years now, for the new year. And they are in a box back there on that table. We'll try to get some passed down the rows here in a few minutes. Also, some lovely tote bags with the CSUEU emblem on them. Aren't those nice? And they are good and sturdy, and they've got a liner for the bottom so you can put your groceries in there and you won't
You can put 12 bags for the
Very good. So take it to merchants that support you by giving you a nickel rebate for bringing your own bag in. They're also back there. And new employee packets. We have some also back there on that table. And Shelley's going to talk about what's in the new employee packet for those of you who are not full members yet. And she's going to make a pitch for membership too. So that will come in a few minutes here. All right, Chris, Treasurer's report. And at this point, we're also going to roll out our proposed budget for next year for the chapter. And Chris will explain what the rules on that are.
Okay, treasurer's report. So the 2 handouts we do have are the treasurer's report and the 2016 budget. The treasurer's report shows the expenses, which were done in September. October we had $63.11. November estimated everything got paid November 30th for $900.44, which would be for the food and drink, room rental for the October general meeting, travel expense to the DOD, board of directors meeting. And October for the business card, card exchange. So we should start December with $4,936.43. And then with this expense, what was our budget? $1,000 for our meeting? Yeah, so we're budgeting at $1,000 for today's meeting. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll end up with 39,36.43. Somewhere right around there.
Any questions on that report before we go on? I might mention that, Chris said we had allocated $1,000 for this meeting. That's a lot of money, right? The food is expensive. That's what we end up paying for, food and drinks. We're not having to pay for this room. When we're in the Albertson room, we do have to pay. And if we have to have one of those little podiums with a PA system built into it, we have to pay for that too. So we over budgeted. So, I mean, what you see there and what you have on your little desk trays in front of you, that's not $1,000. But we, as I say, we over allocated just to make sure that we covered all possible contingencies. And at the next meeting, which will be next month, we should have the finals on that to know exactly what we spent for this. Right.
So the next page is the 2016 budget, which we have to sunshine this for 30 days. So we're showing you now, and then in January at our next meeting, you guys will give it to you to approve. And once you guys approve it, we sign it, we give it to the headquarters as our, this is what we want for our budget for the next year. So, we would like to spend $61.75 in chapter meetings. Need more? All lines.
5101.
The $200.
Oh,
The job steward, is that right?
yeah.
$200. New member recruitment, which we really need to work on to get our numbers up, $480. And that's the maximum we could spend, per year, cause that would be, non-germane, it's 10% of our income. Board of directors meeting, $2,000. CSUEU PUC meeting, $200. Training, $170. Telephone expenses, $100. Supplies, $25. Postage, $50. Which gives us total expenditures for, the year $9,400. So,
I have a question, Chris.
yes,
The board of directors meetings, that $2,000 is allocated for your travel, or how does that work?
that would be our travel, our
Motel.
hotel,
And meals.
and meals.
And for how many of
We
you?
always carpool to the thing, and we, if there's like, if it's Catherine and I, or Shelley and Catherine, we share a room, so.
The deal is, on those board of directors meetings, the chapter president is always funded by headquarters. We never see those expenses here at the chapter. So I drive, and if we send a guest from the chapter, that's a chapter expense, except the transportation, because that person will carpool with me. Since my travel is already paid by headquarters, that person is piggybacking for free. So we keep that cost down that way.
Are you guys also reimbursed for mileage, or they don't give you guys mileage?
When I said travel, that means
I'm
money.
talking when they go too? No, they
We're
don't
only
give you mileage.
carpooling with him.
That's what I just said. If any of them go, they ride with me.
As a guest, is that what you're?
As a guest.
Okay,
My expenses are paid by headquarters,
Okay.
so we never have to pay for that. Any other questions?
okay.
Okay, so, as Chris said, this is our sunshine of this, and I will, once I get my email list together in Outlook, I will send this out to all of you. By our chapter bylaws, you have to have a minimum of 30 days to review it before you vote on it. So, you'll have it for 30 days. We've set our January meeting, and I can't remember the date. I've got it somewhere. It's more than 30 days from today, though.
Yeah,
and-
December 37th or something like that.
I think it's like January 20th.
Yes, that's right, because we were looking at the 11th, I think, and for some reason that didn't work, so. Anyway, it's maybe the 19th or 20th, somewhere there. But we have to have it passed and submitted to headquarters by January 31st. So we've got a little bit of a window there, but, we do have to meet both those requirements, no less than 30 days from today, and submit it to headquarters by January 31st. And, what we presented today is our recommended budget. We cannot pass this by ourselves. It's you, the members, who have to pass it.
And then headquarters will change whatever, balance carried forward. I mean, if that number $4,600 is wrong, they will change that and make the adjustment. But this is just our recommendation to you guys for next year.
The other thing to remember about this type of budget is that it's fluid. If we, for some reason, have to have, take that first line, 5101, chapter meetings, $6,175 is what we recommend. That would cover 6 meetings of this type, 6 chapter meetings. But if for some reason we have to have another one, or one less than that, we aren't bound to spend exactly $6,175. The one figure that we are bound to honor is line 5106, 5202, and 5412. The total of those cannot exceed 10% of our income, our annual income. Our annual income is $4,800, so we cannot spend more than $480 in any year on those 3 lines combined. But everything else is loose, and we can shuffle things around as we need to. The other comment I want to make here is that I just said that our annual income is $4,800, right? And you see that down near the bottom of the page, listed as dues income. However, our budget that we're projecting is $9,400, almost twice that. What that means is that we are carrying over the difference from this year. We are very, very good about that. We never go into the red, and we always carry over a significant surplus that we use every year. We cannot carry over more than $5,000. No chapter that's in the CSUEU bylaws. If we do that, we have to forfeit our dues income until we drop our balance below $5,000. And we were in a situation like that once, but it wasn't because we had carried over the wrong amount. It was because the paperwork got lost in Sacramento, and they didn't recognize, they hadn't seen our audit package, so they couldn't verify that we were under the limits and everything. But once, we had to resend the paperwork, and once they got that, it was all that's where we are with this. And as I say, I'll send out an electronic copy here in a couple of days to not only you, but everybody else. And, then we'll have 30 days to ponder it, and, then we'll vote at the next meeting. Any other questions? Okay. Catherine?
Frank, you're up. Well, right now, we are happy to report that Unit 5 grounds people have, concluded in our discussions with management so that they now have uniforms provided to them. So the uniforms and the cleaning is being provided to them for safety reasons, and, they already have safety shoes provided in the contract, and that system has not changed, but now, where are you? There's one Unit 5, anyone else from Unit 5 in here? Oh, yes, you used to be custodial though, huh? Okay, so, what do you think about uniforms?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, that's what everybody said, so that's why we went that direction. Let's get here. Okay.
We'll take that as a positive. One thing about the uniforms, Unit 5, these are the grounds workers, and, they're out in the sun all day. And, you know, dust and stuff flying in the air at them and that kind of thing. So the uniforms that are gonna be provided have the shirts are long sleeved, and, we understand that the fabric is a good, dense, heavy fabric, not too heavy because of the summer months. And you want a fabric that's gonna breathe, but, it'll help protect, against the sun and the other stuff that the guys are exposed to. So it's a good thing. And free laundry paid. Such a deal, huh?
Well, we have, another issue that's being discussed right now, and it involves the contracting out of computer printers and, the maintenance of the same. And so, what we did, because we don't know everything about everything, we spoke with the people that work in IT, and these are Unit 9 folks that actually repair the printers that we already have on campus, and, to get their input. And we've had a couple of meetings, we'll probably have, some more questions answered before we give a response to management. But, management has asked us, do we want to have a meet and confer, which means statewide representatives come onto campus and we do requests for information, and it's a very big deal that has legal implications. And whenever we can get our answers and avoid having, a meet and confer, we will do that, only if it makes sense and only if we pretty much all agree. And so, at this point, in the process, we have gotten more answers that now we need to go back to statewide representatives, the bargaining unit chair and vice chair, and tell them, well, this is what they're saying, that, you know, I don't wanna give you the details and bore you with it, but, I think a lot of our questions have been answered, but now we need feedback from up above, statewide. So that's ongoing.
Do you want to do a short explanation of what they intend to do for printers?
Yes, please.
Basically, what the campus is going to be doing is eliminating or phasing out, all the individual printers and have larger printers that are going to be shared by a number of people, which may become inconvenient for a lot of folks that don't have a large printer very close by. But they're doing it for a couple of reasons. One is apparently there's a lot of smaller ones that are not very good. They're not, they don't have all the newer technology, and they're slowly going to be doing away with those. And that's why they want to go, gradually eliminate all the smaller ones. They're talking about buying some every year for the next 5 years, I think it is. And in the meantime, I'm sorry, 4 years. That they're going to be getting larger printers and having those more or less centralized for various areas. Going back to the mean preferred notice they gave us, legally they have to notice it when there's going to be any changes, and to let us know what they're planning on doing and ask if we want to meet them preferred. We are usually most interested in doing that when it's going to affect our members in a negative fashion. One of the things that the notice that we got at Sacramento said that no one that's currently doing any printer repair will be affected. No one's going to be affected. If at all, they're going to have less printer repairs to do, which I think is positive. I don't know how we can say we'd rather continue doing this extra work when you can minimize how much of that you're going to be doing. So that's the main thing that we will be looking at. That's not going to be happening here. So that's one of the things that the chapter leadership will thought back, statewide bargaining team and say, okay, this is what they're saying, this is how it looks, and see what their thoughts are, their direction. Questions?
And all-in-one is what's being mentioned as the area equipment. So,
Printer, fax,
copier,
scanner.
printer, fax, yeah,
And email.
scanners, and email. 5 functions. And a lot of the older printers that management is aware of, they call those the throwaway printers. And a lot of the faculty have what we would call throwaway printers. And they're called that because it costs more to fix them than they're worth. A lot of them are old, pretty old. And so I would not be surprised if we didn't see a new rule about ordering printers with our pro cards. And probably the circle with the red line through it that says, do not order printers unless you go through a process. I wouldn't be surprised. They didn't say that outright, but so all of you people that work in offices and your faculty come in and they say, I need a new printer for my desk in my faculty office, you better ask somebody before you order it.
They'll just use their foundation money and they can do whatever they want with it and go buy it at the local store.
I would tell you, as employees, ask somebody before you spend any kind of money on it. I mean, why set up a new system to fail? I mean, why go around and see if it works? If it doesn't work, then you can go back to the school.
Or if they want to spend their money, as long as they know that we're not going to be repairing them anymore, that's up to them if they want to throw their money away. Right? Because I would imagine something else that would be coming out along with that kind of a notification is that the university will no longer be repairing and providing maintenance for these smaller printers.
Good luck on that politics.
They don't unless they, whatever our big printers are, up until then, it's not.
Right, yeah, that's my understanding too. So we have the experts here. You do not repair anything but HP printers right now?
That's all we do.
Yeah,
Okay.
we won't
And,
repair the brother factories or any of that other stuff. We try to curtail it down to a certain amount of, you know, just like we tell them, they can only buy these computers, these printers
Right.
for it to support.
Yeah, it's
And we pretty much recommend what we think is the best. But departments and the foundation, they can do whatever they want with their money, we just don't support it and they go to the warranty place here in town,
okay.
like Carney's or something.
Well, that might lighten up your workload too, huh?
It might, yeah, increase other people in the town.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Okay, any questions for Catherine? Or Frank? I'm sorry, do you all know Frank Polito? Okay, he's our, staff labor relations representative. He represents this campus, San Luis Obispo, and Fresno. And spends a lot of time behind the wheel.
And I'm not a big realtor. If anybody thinks that.
Okay, so, while Shelley is giving her pitch about organizing, I'm gonna be passing out some of these goodies that I mentioned earlier, so don't, pay attention to her, not me, okay?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
For those who don't know me, I'm Shelley Carson. I work at the Technical Institute of Ethics. I'm also vice president of our chapter and a steward. My extension is 6263 if anybody needs assistance and you're in a union and you're a member and you're having issues. And Ray and Catherine and Chris and Ryan and Jamie, we're all stewards. James. So, what I wanted to do is the new member packet, just kind of go over what's in it, to give you an idea of additional benefits if you are a member versus a fee payer. You know, a lot of people ask, well, if I'm already paying, it's coming out of my check, I already see it. Well, you're a fee payer if there is an F behind, you'll see the CSUEU line on your paycheck, and you'll see an F, which means you're a fee payer. If yours is a D, that means you are a member. So in this case, oh wait, that's backwards, huh?
No, F is fees.
Okay. So you want a D, not an F. That's all we're
Yeah.
So the first thing you'll see in the packet is, from our CSUEU state president, a welcome letter, and just letting you know, to look at everything in here, there's important information that all of us need to know. This is a really good pamphlet, and basically, it talks about your probation. The next couple of months are really important to your career. And this is a step-by-step probation guide. Talks about your your performance evaluation, when you should get them. And then there's a for the record here, keep information about yourself, your major duties. One thing up here, if you did not receive a position description when you started, talk to your MPT or your administrator or whoever you report to. And then talk about the early weeks of your probation, that's the list frequently. From time to time, I ask my supervisor how I'm doing. I keep a written record of physical comments for the future. Another one, I ask my coworkers questions about the performance and especially on my work side and about standard training available. So these are just some examples. Work performance will determine whether you achieve permanent employee status. Okay, and your qualification factors are skill, knowledge, work habits, relationships with people, ability, attitude, and more information on that. Your first evaluation should be 3 months. And then you can write down notes, keep track of things that are happening during your probationary period that you may need to reference to later if there is an issue or you disagree with your evaluation. Keep track of your attendance, time off, if you were late to work, days you were absent, and rejection on probation. to give you additional information. Things to watch out for to avoid is check your position description on a regular basis, check out training opportunities, check often with your supervisor on how you're doing, so this is good information. Oh, how many of you got your annual or your 3-month evaluation this year? For 14, 15. For last fiscal year. Really?
In July, right? Would have been in July, right?
Well, that's when they started.
It would, the one that would have been due by July 1st of this year, so
Yeah.
the 14, 15 this year. You should be getting an annual evaluation due by January 30th, June 30th, of the end of the fiscal year that you are. So this year, our next, we got one June 30th for 14, 15, and so this next coming June will be the 15, 16 evaluation. And you're entitled to one every year. If you don't get one, please ask your supervisor why. And if they can't give you an answer, come to one of us, and we'll see if we can figure out what we need to do.
On the other hand, if your previous, if the last evaluation that's in your file is positive, and you have reason to believe that a new one might not be positive, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, how long do they get to, review your, position description?
It took mine, I turned mine in, I just pulled this stuff on August 23rd, and then I had to make some revisions from my dean, but I just got it back last week or the week before. So it's taking quite a while.
It's,
No time frame that they're expected to do, they could take years.
They don't know. It took about 3.5 months to get mine back.
I forgot to mention that it's, everybody is being done at once, and, HR apologizes for it. They have 3 classifiers working on all of our stuff, and they are trying to get this finished because they're sick of it too.
yeah, and the distinction here is that the current PD revision program that they handed down to us is that it's their prerogative to do that. And as we understand it, they aren't bound by the timelines, the normal contractual timelines. Conversely, if any of you request a reclass or an examination of your PD, then that starts the clock. And it's, what is it, 90 days, I believe, for them to initially respond to you. And to make sure that that clock starts, don't just give it to your supervisor. Take an identical copy to HR and get a time and date stamp the same day.
I was gonna say that it's my understanding too, that the position descriptions that all of you are putting in as a group, which a lot of you have none of them, is, that if you don't agree with the response given, it's not being done as a reclassification. It's, does this meet, is this, you wanna get the position descriptions in your files. So it's not, I think there's some time limit of how long you can apply for a reclass after you've applied for a reclass, but it would not count in this position. We've had people come in and say, no, I want a reclassification. They resubmitted it specifically as a reclassification and then have had positive results.
And that starts the time clock.
Right.
Again, it's because you, the employee, have initiated it. Marlene, I think you have a
Yeah,
question.
I just had a comment on the timeline, so mine, I just got mine back, and it was dated, like, my dean signed it, September 3rd. It was sent to HR in that time frame, and then at the top where it says, you know, approved as whatever, was dated 9/18, but we just got it back, 9/8. So within 5 days, it was done, but we just got it back like a month ago, or a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So like, why does it take, I mean, if they were able to approve it in 5 days, why does it take so long to get back to us? As
Who
being
approved it?
approved or, I don't know who, or evaluated, I don't know who the evaluator was.
The
classifier.
classifier approved it?
It was within 5 days,
There was a lot
but
of-
we didn't get it back unless that date was not, I mean, it was that little stamp at the top that says
When they received
reviewed
it.
by whoever, and there's a date, and it was 5 days later.
That means it's been to the classifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got it back.
Classifier.
But then
But I didn't,
also,
I just don't understand why it took 3 months to get back from,
well, we also have, issues in HR, we've got one person, Kelly Dubia, that has to funnel all of the paperwork.
okay.
And she has to funnel it all in and all out, and like you mentioned earlier, she's also having to post 5-6 jobs a week. So that's what.
Okay, so that's what,
That's
okay.
it, there's only one person that's funneling that work.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a huge project.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. And project outside of the contract.
Right, okay.
Okay, this, you know, this is a really complicated thing. You can imagine there are about 300 people in CSUEU represented positions alone on this campus. And for HR to have to go through every single one of those, even, you know, ultimately they will get everybody's. Even if you haven't done it yet, you will do it. It's an enormous task. And so just be patient. Mine took, I got it in the week after the 4th of July, I think, and just got it back about 2 weeks ago finally. So that's, I don't think that's unusual.
Okay, so I need to wrap up for time, or else I'd read everything that I have here, but, the one thing with being a member versus a fee payer is you get to vote, you get a voice, and you can make, you know, your voice be heard within the union, and if we're together and we're voting collectively, and we're working together as a group, we have more power that way. The more we have as members in our membership, you know, we just have more power that way, you know, and you guys have more of a choice, and you guys can vote and, you know, get your word out. The fun advantages of membership, you get, well, I would say this is fun, but you get a $1,000 to a $3,000 death benefit. The first year is 1,000, second year 2,000, 3 years on it's 3,000. Credit union privileges, Visa cards for checking, retirement planning services, discount buy, including electronics, computers, furniture, legal services, group insurance, discounts on tickets, theme parks, travel and much more. The CSEA Foundation gets college scholarships to 100% members. Voting rights on alternative contract agreements, we get to vote on our contract, we get to vote for our benefits, we get to vote for days off. Representation on contractual disciplinary and all of the work-related issues not covered by contract. What service fee payers get, representation of contractual issues only. So an example that I can give you guys, which made sense to me, is the person's driving down the road and they get into a car accident. And as soon as they get into this car accident, they're like, oh, shoot, I was gonna go and get insurance. So they're screwed, right, because they don't have insurance. So if you're a fee payer and there's something going down in your office with your supervisory manager, and you come to us, we can't help you, because if it's an issue related to, disciplinary and contract. So, you know, it's like not having auto insurance and getting into an accident. You can't get it after the fact. So, if you are thinking you're gonna have a problem, or if anything could change in the future, make sure that you're a member before you come. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Shelley. I mean, not many people wake up in the morning and say, I think I'm gonna have a problem at work today. But, so I better go get signed up.
It happens.
It does happen. Okay, so 2 other quick items. CFA, if you have not heard, they took a vote to go on strike over contractual issues, primarily pay. If they go on strike, it's scheduled for sometime next month. If they do that, we cannot go on a sympathy strike with them.
Why?
Catherine and Frank do not want to get a call from you the day after that strike and say, HR has called me in because I went out on sympathy strike yesterday with CFA. Okay? If you do that, we'll represent you, but
Just make sure you remember.
I'm giving you fair warning. Our contract specifically states that as long as the contract is in effect, we cannot go on strike, nor can we be locked out, on the other hand. That means they can't lock the doors on us and say, you cannot show up to work today. Go figure, and I've argued that time and time again at headquarters, and they always say, well, there are certain.
Well, you know, they put a picket line up across the front of campus. We had her down to the clock.
Yeah, that's right. And so as Jamie says, if they are, if CFA is walking across the entrances so that you can't get in, well, they're gonna be in violation and UPD will take care of that. But we are still expected to be on the job, all right?
I talked to Doreen, which is CFA president on
Yes.
campus. The CFA on campus will not stop any staff members at all.
Good.
She's already discussed it with them. They will allow all of us to come on campus to work because they know what our contract says, that we can't go out there and pick it with them, that we have to still be at work.
Yes.
So,
Now, on your own time, your lunch hour, before work, after work, you can do whatever you want to, as long as it's legal. Okay? Well, you can do illegal things too, but we're not gonna answer that phone call. So, you know, if you want to show some support, that's fine, just make sure you're not, doing it when you're on the clock, okay?
And one clarification, break time is considered the university's time, it's not your time. So that's why Ray said before, after, or during your lunch hour, but not during break time.
Yeah, if you do it on your lunch hour or before work, make sure you're at your workstation at the appointed time.
What I've seen at the other campuses that I go to is they've gotten buttons or stickers from CFA and they're wearing them on the days of CFA is having some kind of activity or attending their noontime rallies, whatever. I mean, witnessing but not being part of the rally.
Yeah, you can wear a button. Yep.
The last time CFA did this, many of the staff members would go out there on their lunch hour and walk the picket lines with them, and then come back into work. So you can do that on your lunch hour, and, I plan to do that, because I want the Me Too clause to kick in.
And the Me Too clause, you do such great lead-ins, because that's exactly where I was headed next. Remember, if CFA bargains for more than 2% in the current fiscal year, we also get the difference between whatever they bargain and 2%. 5, they want 5.
And what are they, you said they're trying to get 5?
They're trying to, they want 5.
They want 5.
So, if they get it, we get 3.
But
Nothing
you
wrong with
have
that.
to be hired on before a certain date,
You
right?
have to have been on the payroll on July 1st of this year. Yeah. So I'm sorry if you're a new hire. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk very briefly about is the harassment training, the online harassment training that we are now required to take every year. If you have not taken it, take it. Look, folks, this protects you. It's only good things can come out of this. You protect yourself and from accidentally committing some sort of harassment, you also protect yourself if you are the recipient of harassment. And if you suspect you are the recipient of any sort of harassment, report it to HR and to us immediately. If it's an emergency situation, pick up your phone, don't use the handset, put it on speakerphone, dial 2111. That's UPD, and they will trace your call, and if they can tell what's going on from raised voices or whatever, they will come. Okay? We are out of time. Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
If anybody did sign in sheets up here in front, please come sign in.